Hello YouTubers. No canine companion tonight. I have to share her with my parents, so she's spending her night in there. I have kind of a, I don't know really what to call you guys, follower or fan, or there's somebody who watches my videos on YouTube a lot. And he recently, he saw my advice for expats video that are coming home. And, he made some comment about referring to it as an ordeal. My whole China experience. He was really just using ordeal as a general term. But it was kind of an ordeal. More on that if I have time. But what I really want to talk about is he mentioned that one shouldn't blame their problems on a place or another person, because those things aren't what's making the problem. Now, I don't generally like playing the blame game. I used to a lot, but I've been trying to get out of that. However, I will posit that places do cause problems for people, because frankly, if they didn't, no one would expatriate. You know? If you go and live and work in another country, you'll hear a slew of expats just going on endlessly about why they left their country, and some of them about why they're never going back. And this person is an expat. I think he might even be out of his country right now, and I guarantee there's a reason for it, right? A lot of people try and dress it up and say, "Oh, I just wanted to be, around another culture for a while, and this and that." Okay, whatever. Most of the time, it's well, I didn't like the president, or I didn't like the way the government was going, or my dad this, my mom this. Places, and to a certain extent, people do cause problems. If you're going to go and on no experience, or even with a degree, go and teach English in China, you're not really going to make more than, say, 8 to 10,000 RMB a month, and that's now, and that's only about $1,400, And if you're going to go and, again, I've said this in videos before, if you're going to go and, do anything other than party and get drunk, probably you're going to spend a lot of your money. It's hard to get money home as well, It's not impossible if you plan ahead for it, but, it can be hard to do that. Now, actually, the people I knew that did well money-wise, again, either all they really did with their money was go out and party kind of hard once a week, which isn't too expensive to do. Booze, beer at least, is pretty cheap. And playing foosball in a club is usually free. Street food's still relatively cheap. It's gone up, but from what I understand, I still know a lot of people that live in China, so I can ask about prices and stuff if I need to, and generally keep up with that. My niece is also half Chinese, so a couple relatives of mine make regular trips over there, and they can kind of keep me informed, so I'm not necessarily out of the loop. But again, I went over there and I tried to, I said I'm going to really work on my guitar playing and stuff, so the first guitar I bought was 600 RMB, real cheap. The second one I bought was 600 RMB. Better, but not great. My third one was like 1400 RMB. My 30th birthday. Or sorry, that's not true. The point is, I went over there and I kind of lived life the same way, because I sort of said to myself, the point of doing all this isn't to live the same way. I'm not going to go over there and eat my own shit, because, what would be the point? I'm practically eating my own shit here in the U.S. as it was, right? So, I didn't get the point of going over there and having less of, or just as much of a life as I had here. I wanted to live better, so I wanted a nice apartment and stuff. Now, I could afford all that. And I could afford to buy those guitars. Or McDonald's, or, whatever. Right? I bought a little electric scooter and stuff. But the point is, there's just not really a point to doing it financially unless you're looking to get away from something. And I think most people that run off to China or Korea or anywhere in Asia that's cheap are doing so partially to get away from something. Their parents, their a crazy girlfriend, an ex-wife, just something. So, saying that places can't cause problems for people, it's just kind of woefully inaccurate, I think. I understand what he means, but I just don't necessarily agree with it. And I think that's a fair assumption. I've talked to enough expatriates to know that, again, 90% of them are running from something. Hell, I knew a couple people who were running away from their parents' wealth. They just wanted to do something on their own. They had no problems, living in the States or anything like that. They just felt too pampered and wanted to kind of escape that. So, and the place I lived, Harlingen, Texas, or the greater Rio Grande Valley in general, will grab hold of you in a way that is just like a vice, because it doesn't really supply you with enough to do anything else. It takes a lot from you, and that you got to pay the same bills everybody all over the country pays. Yet, it's hard to get a job that'll let you make enough to really get out of there and kind of sustain yourself. in order to move away and do something else and just have the necessary time to find work or whatever. So, yeah, the place that I was from was definitely causing a problem for me. And I had to get away from it, like, with utmost haste. And then kind of China started to have its own problems. Probably because I didn't move around in it much. You know, a lot of people that do the China thing, they go to a different city every year, or every couple of years, or something like that. I kind of stayed in the same place, and when you stay in the same place too long, you can kind of start to get ingrained in it, and then, you know, once you're kind of embedded someplace, problems start to come along. Although I'd love to have her now, my girlfriend at the time was just, I couldn't be around her anymore. Also, the company I worked for, Linguaphone, at the time, was heavily embezzled from all their Chinese branches shut down suddenly. We were just suddenly without jobs, and I was having trouble finding one. It was a bad time of year to need a job. And, again, I was counting on having my bonus, and the business shut down, so I was suddenly without any money, you know. It had its own problems. And I got home, and the valley got a hold of me again, and pretty much just ground me into the dirt for, a few years. And it's not for lack of trying. I mean, I tried hard to, get jobs and keep jobs and everything like that, but all that stuff just doesn't always, work out in your favor. So sometimes you do have to get out of a place to move on and improve. There's not really there's not really another option. Again, I'm not really trying to start an argument here. I'm just saying that and yes, we do bring a lot of our problems on ourselves, but sometimes there are some external factors that can kind of make things a little more difficult there. So that's really all I wanted to say. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. Goemonronin signing out.